to our first episode of CPA Today, where we will discuss all things inclusion. Strap yourselves in and be ready for a thrilling series of 3 episodes that will inform and equip aspiring health and PE professionals to exclude exclusion and include inclusion. To help us do this, we have a special guest, Nathan Paredes, who is a 3rd year uni student and pedagogical enthusiast. Please welcome him. Hi Nathan, welcome.
It's great to be here. I love that little play on words there with exclude exclusion and include inclusion. It's very creative from you, Lizzie.
Thank you. I thought of it last night. So for this first episode that we are discussing curriculum, specifically what inclusive practice looks like and how can we apply it in practice. So why is inclusive curriculum important?
So inclusive curriculum is actually essential for our teaching. Penny and Co suggest that inclusive curriculum is not merely desired, it's actually a requirement, and it's an expectation from all teachers to create supportive, inclusive environments, and that comes from our curriculum. So our curriculum is our focal point and is our guide that guides our pedagogy and our assessment as well, which we will talk about in future episodes. And PE has sort of been a subject area that has been quite, excluding. Often our curriculum provides for students that are your sporty type, your sporty alpha males, generally get the cake in PE, and often it's a place where students are marginalised and often excluded a lot of the time. So it's crucial that we create that curriculum that engages these students and is inclusive for all students.
Mm-hmm. So how has this been changed?
So we've seen a bit of a shift in our overarching curriculum. So the Australian curriculum states and emphasises that all students are entitled to rigorous, relevant and engaging learning programs drawn from a challenging curriculum that addresses their individual learning needs. So our curriculum and the Victorian curriculum emphasises this, and so that shows that our curriculum is shifting to this area of inclusion and wanting to engage students and provide for those different learning needs. However, it is often there's often varied interpretations from the school, the culture of the school, from different teachers in what's important to implementing curriculum. That's why we need to have the tools and we need to understand what we need to have in our curriculum to provide that inclusion for our students.
So what should aspiring education be doing to create inclusive curriculum?
Yeah, so Colpin and Bruce really emphasise this critical challenging approach where students and teachers need to challenge the traditional norms of HPE and move to something that students start to have more relevance and authenticity, and that teaching and learning is relevant to their lives. And we need to see a shift away from that directed teacher stands up at front and gives knowledge and students are just involved in skill drills. We also need to be aware of the language we use in our curriculum and those grey areas. We need to eliminate those grey areas that create misconception and just be clear in what we provide in our curriculum. Enright and O'Sullivan also discuss involving students in the curriculum designing, as this will give them some control over the learning and they see themselves in the curriculum, and so that makes them more inclined to wanna join in and be involved. This was used for some female students and worked really well for those students, as they felt they were being listened to. Penny and Co. also suggests that curriculum should broaden the movement experiences that feature in physical education and start shifting from those skills and knowledge and understanding, and it should enhance relevant. So Penny and Co. suggest that curriculum should broaden the movement experiences that feature in physical education. Shifting from that skill again and going to more relevant and authentic learning experiences that will help them in everyday life situations. In some discussions with other students, we also discussed how our curriculum needs to be flexible and needs to be able to adapt and have progressions and regressions that we can put in place for our students' diversity. Another approach I want to allude to is the transgressive conception by DeLuca, and this approach is one of 4, and it looks at how we celebrate diversity and use it as a resource to enrich the learning for all students. And sometimes with the marginalized students, they have some strengths that I guess other students don't have. So we need to be able to celebrate those strengths and utilize that to enrich the learning for all students. So these are some of the considerations we need to have when we're creating our curriculum.
So are there any examples of this curriculum in practice?
Yeah, so there's a couple of frameworks that I'll draw your attention to. One of those is the Universal Design for Learning, which reiterates this idea of having flexibility and having adaptations in place in the curriculum. So this Universal Design for Learning has adaptations in place at the time of writing curriculum so that you can easily draw upon those adaptations whenever you need them, and you're not having to come up with different regressions or progressions during a lesson. It's there that you can draw upon. If you need it for certain diverse students, you can use those. Another one is a sports education model, and that looks at students working in teams together, collaborating, and a bit of peer teaching, which is a great tool to use. The sports education model, a link will be provided on the website, and it goes into more detail, but basically it gets students in teams working together to solve certain problems and to engage in collaborative work together. The third one is a youth action framework, which is a strengths-based approach that engages students in everyday world of movement. So students are learning how to solve movement issues and movement problems. It is not as such in like moving around and doing skill drills, but it's learning how to solve everyday movement issues in a supportive environment with the students. So these are just a few of the alternative curriculums that are out there that we can sort of use as a framework to help guide our curriculum design.
Well, thank you for your insight, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts on pedagogy in our next episode.
Thank you. Oh, that was a bit